Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to Vav Fashion's YouTube channel. Thank you for clicking on this video. So today we're going to be learning how to make this lovely sleeve. It's called a peasant sleeve. It has panels, several panels, as you can see. It's not the regular bishop sleeve, it's a peasant sleeve. So kindly stay tuned while we get right into the tutorial. And if you're ready to subscribe, please kindly hit the subscribe button and do not forget to share this video. And also, if you're already a subscriber, this is me saying thank you and thank you for coming back. So first you need your basic sleeve. So this is my basic sleeve, and this is the fabric I'll be using to achieve this sleeve. So right now, if you don't know how to draft a basic sleeve, I'll be dropping the link in the description box so that you can check it out. But it's very simple. So here, sleeve, can you see? The sleeve length I have here is 18 inches. So now the first thing I want to do, I want to divide this into 3 equal parts. So all I need to do is to come here to the biggest part of the sleeve. Here I have 8 inches. First, take note that this sleeve does not have sewing allowance. It is my basic sleeve, my actual sleeve. So I'll be adding my allowance to the fabric. So this is my 8 inches. So 8 divided by 3, that will give me 2.5 plus, then the half, I'll divide half into 3. So that will give me 2.2 and 3/4. Let's say 2 and 3/4. So here at the cap's height of my sleeve, I'll go ahead and mark 2 and 3/4 here. I hope we can see. Let me mark this way, 2 and 3/4, 2 and 3/4, and then this is the last. This one is not up to 2 and 3/4. This is like 2.5. So that's fine. So I'm going to draw my lines all the way to the hem of the sleeve. Okay. So I'll take this line all the way up. So now I'm going to be cutting this lines. I'm going to be cutting on this line. So I'll cut it opened. Okay. Can you see that? So I have 1, 2, 3. So you want to label this 1, 2, and 3. Slash them into 3. I'll be cutting 2 pieces for each of them. So now I'm going to show us how to cut it. Place my fabric on fold, and here like this. This is number 1. I'll place it here in the middle. Let me increase it to 6 inches, okay, so that I can just place it in the middle. So here I have 2 and 3/4. So, and I have 6 inches here. So to get the midpoint, this is where it's supposed to be. So whatever I have here, I will have the same thing on the other side. So here I have 1.25 on this side, and 1 and 3/4, sorry, and then 1 and 3/4 too here on this side. So you want to just pin it down like this. So take note that my fabric is on fold. That means I'm cutting 2 pieces. So I'll come down. Remember that this is the upper part of my sleeve. So from this point, I'll come down to my elbow length, or a little above my elbow. My elbow length is 13 inches. So above my elbow, I'll be working with 11 inches. So here is my 11 inches here at this point. So I'm going to open this from here. Can you see this? I'm going to open it up like this, and then open it up like this. Can you see that? I'm opening it up. So I'm going to add ½ inch here, ½ inch here for joining. So I'll come here now and do this. ½ inch, ½ inch, ½ inch. I'll do the same thing here and just connect my lines. So, and then I'll come to this part and just come down by ½ inch from the hem here. So I'll bring in my scissors and cut it out. Now I have number 1. Can you see what it looks like? So I'm going to repeat exactly the same thing for number 2, and then I'll show us how to do number 3, because number 3 will be the one carrying our sewing allowance. I cut out my number 2. So now I'm going to place number 3. So this is the end here of the sleeve. Can you see this side? This is the side that will have my sewing allowance. So here for number 3, I'm going to be increasing the size of my fabric. Remember that we're placing 6 inches on fold. In this case, I'm going to be using 8 inches on fold, which is what I have here now. And this is the upper part of the sleeve. So we'll just press it down. Okay, so you just use your pin to pin it down. So once it is down, at this point, so remember that I measured in at 11 inches. That's 2 inches above my elbow length. And how did I know where that 2 inches above my elbow length? Because I measured from the sleeve cap here. So this is where it started from. That's 7 inches below the length here. That's 7 inches below the length here. So all I need to do is to take 7 inches from here, from the hem of my sleeve. Okay, so now that we have this, I will also go ahead and to confirm my 1 3/4. So I have 1 3/4 here. I'll bring in my ruler and then connect it like this. So I'll connect it like this. So having connected it, I'm going to add ½ inch here for my joining allowance. So here we have this. So now on this side, I'm going to be marking my 2 inches for sewing allowance. So here's my 2 inches here, 2 inches here. So having marked my 2 inches, so this is where my 7 inches starts from. So all I need to do is to say 2 inches plus my 1 3/4. So that will give me 3 3/4. So I'll just come here to this part and mark 3 3/4. And then I'll go ahead to connect it like this. So this is how the side will be. That's the last sleeve, okay? So I'll do this, connect it this way. So I'll place it this way now and cut out the last one. I have the third one. So take note that I have 2 pieces of each. Okay, so now I'll be notching. Now you can see that this is the side where my sewing allowance is. So I'll be notching this side that will be joining to the center piece. So this is the part that will be joined to the center piece. So you want to notch to indicate that this is where you'll be joining. So I also bring in the center piece like this. This is number 2. Can you see? This is the side, because this is how my sleeve was, isn't it? You can see how it is. This is how my sleeve was. So, and now I'll be also joining this side to this side. So you want to also notch. You need to indicate. If not, you can easily interchange them. You don't want to have that kind of problem. So here too, I'll pick it up. This is where I'll be joining. That's for the first one. This is where I'll be joining to this. So I'll go ahead and notch it. Okay, so now in this case, I can now take off my pins because I already have my points notched. So I want to just keep this aside. So we'll also be cutting lining for this. So I've gone ahead to cut out my linings. Can you see? I have 2 pieces of each, just like I have the main fabric, 2 pieces also. So this is our number 1. From our pattern, you can see this is number 1, and this is the shape of number 1. So I'm going to place lining, I'm going to place fabric to fabric. Can you see? So this is number one. Can you see? I'm going to place them facing each other like this. I have two number one. Can you see that? So this is the part that was notched. So I'll pick my number two. This is our number two here, like this. Can you see the shape? So now I'll bring this number two here, and then I'll place them this way, like this, and then like this. Can you see? This is the part I'll be sewing to this side. This is the part I'll be sewing to this side. Now take note, I notched number two on the second side where I'll be joining the third piece to it. So here we are. So now I have my number one facing number one, number two facing number one. Can you see? And then I'll bring number three. Remember, I notched number three on this side. So this part is the part I'll be joining to this side like this. And then this part will be joined to this side like this. So now we want to just use our pins to pin it down like this. So I'll be stitching number three and I haven't pinned it down. This is what I have. So I'll bring this number one like this and pin it to this part like this. And stitch them on half inch. Remember that half inch is my sewing allowance that I added. So I'm going to stitch on half inch on all 6 of them like this. I'll repeat the same thing on my lining, then I'll show us the next step. So as you can see, I'm done joining my sleeves. That's the pieces. Can you see what we have? This is what it looks like on the wrong side. I went ahead to press all my seam lines opened. So this is what I have on the right side. I did exactly the same thing on my lining. Can you see? So now the next thing we'll be doing is this. I'm going to place it like this. Wrong side facing wrong side. Of course, the lining now has a wrong side. Okay? So I'll place it wrong side facing wrong side so that this part is neat. So after doing that, I'm going to top stitch it this way. Just sew it round. Okay? Can you see how this place looks? I'm going to sew it round. Then I also went ahead to cut my band. So this band is 4 inches in length. This band is 4.5 inches in length, 4.5 inches in length. I'll be using half inch to join it to this part. But this is what I'll be doing. Of course, you can see that this place is wider than the band I have here because the width of the band is my lower round arm plus my sewing allowance of 1 inch. Can you say that? So remember that on this part I added the sewing allowance of 2 inches. This is because I want the sleeve to be full, but on this part I just added 1 inch. So my round sleeve, my round arm at that point is 9 inches. Can you see I have 11 inches? So I'll be sewing on 1 inch. So after top stitching my sleeve, I'm going to use gather stitch. I'm going to run gather stitch on the hem here at this part that is full. I'm going to be running gather stitch, then I'll do my gathers. Okay, I'll gather it to what I have here, that's to the 11 inches I have here, and I'll show us. So after sewing my sleeve, after top stitching it, this is what I have. They're both sitting nicely. So now I went to, after this is, I've done my gathers already. I've used the longest stitch on my machine to sew down so that I can gather it. And you see this, I just continue gathering it. I'll gather it to the length I have here, which is 11 inches. So I'll just make sure to gather it, and then I'll show us what the next thing to do, what I have after gathering. So I'm going to bring in my band like this. I'll place it on the right side like this. Okay, my band is on the right side. Then I'll make sure to pin it down. I want to make sure to pin it down. Can you see that this side I have my 1 inch without gathers, and I also have my 1 inch here without gathers. You don't need the gathers to go into your side seam allowance. So I'm just going to pin it down, and then I'll take it to my sewing machine and stitch it down on 1/2 inch here. Then I'll show us the outcome. So I've sewn my sleeve, and then I also went ahead to weave it. You can see it's looking neat. So now this is it. I'm just going to pin the sleeve from inside so that we can see what I am talking about. So I haven't pinned my sleeve on the wrong side. Can you see? Can you see what I have? Can you see how nice my sleeve is looking? So all I need to do now is to attach it to the outfit I'm making for it, and then I'll show us the full view on the human body. I'm sure you have learned something. Please kindly subscribe to my channel, like this video, share with your friends. See you in my next video.